it's immediately beat by Mercury, a 128.2 from him as well. And DJ Danny, 129.1 on the medium. So you can see the difference in pace in the elder AlphaTauri of F1 Gravity, 128.4 from him. Darnell set his lap on the mediums. It looks like he invalidated that one, so it won't count at the end of the day. Let's see if we can... Yeah, plenty of... We know this track is not great on tires at all, which we could see if you make it into the top 10, or if you make it even outside the top 10, starting on the mediums and getting onto the hards to make it a one-stop race. Because the hards are actually probably the better race tire out of the three. I mean, it's only 1.7 seconds slower than the softs, but I think, you know, we should be able to see that tire being put to some pretty good use, especially for those starting inside the top 10. Let's see who we can jump on board with now. Ryan 97 looks to have invalidated his lap, so he will potentially head back into the pit lane. But almost everybody has come out and set a lap already. So Sharks has split the two Renaults of 128.9 from the racing point. And his teammate,
that's very good.
F1, who does have a reputation of being the first out on track, is one of those who's still yet to set a lap alongside both McLarens, both Red Bulls, and one of the Mercedes as well. Trying to see if maybe Ryan 97 is teeing himself up for another lap as we ride on board with James F1 as he sets his out lap. I'm wondering now, is Ryan 97 going to potentially go for another lap here on the same set of wheels, or maybe just move on to the softs and maybe just abandon that? Because as we were just talking about, tire wear around this track is just so crucial, and keeping those tires, especially for Ryan 97, who would probably see himself normally qualifying inside the top 10, is going to have to preserve those tires. It looks like he is going to start another final lap.
Yeah, well, he's again starting on the mediums. That's interesting. Really interesting to see if he goes on to the softs by the end, but surprised to see how many people were going out on mediums.
Yeah, well, 11 minutes now to go in the session, and those that have yet to set times are beginning their outlaps once more, as we're still keeping an eye on Ryan 97, see what kind of time he can put in that now black Mercedes. It is a fantastic looking car. Again, I'll get more slander for this, but it looks than the silver ones. But don't tell Valtteri Bottas that, because he was not happy with the black.
He was not happy
with the black fire suits today. With the black fire suits today, he probably would have wanted to keep those the white that they were. But Ryan 97 has gone through the chicane. Looks like he's gonna have himself a pretty decent lap. It looks like he has backed out of it in the end.
Yeah,
probably not the start he was looking for in that Mercedes, because we know the speed that he has. He came through halfway last season and put in some very, very good results. Got unlucky a few times, had a few crashes, but when he wasn't, he was really finding himself inside the top 10, and most of the time inside the top 5 as well.
Here he is then. Is he going to pit? He isn't. He's going to try again.
He's going to try again. We're on board with our current Drivers' Champion. HK running extremely wide through the right-hander. It didn't invalidate his lap, so it looks like he's going to stay with it. Up into 8th gear, DRS wide open. There's 200 miles an hour. He's going to get even faster than that. 205, 206 miles an hour as he brakes real hard into the chicane. Down to 3rd gear he goes, running wide there as well. That might invalidate his lap. No, it doesn't look like it has. HK getting away with the extension here. 190 miles an hour as we come to the long... I mean, it's basically a flat-out right-hander these days. in that Red Bull. Here's the long sweeping turn 11. It heads into the third and final sector. Down into third, a very, very late apex there.
Ooh, little lock up there.
Up
that might.
Little lock up, the left front, another lock up, another lock up. So it's not, not the cleanest of laps, but he's going to get it over the line. Let's see what kind of time he can put in on the softs for his first run. And we see him in 11th, a few seconds off of our current pulse here of Mercury. 128.2, the time to beat, in HK 131.5, nowhere near really his ability that we know that he has. Let's see who is next to come across the line. Miles, his teammate on the mediums, has jumped to, so that Miles and DJ Danny battle, we could see that a few times this season. We saw it plenty last season. It looks like it's going to reignite here because Miles on the mediums has gone about a 10th faster than DJ Danny's. It looks like there's another Mercedes trying to get through. Is that would have been Ryan 97, wouldn't it? Let's see who else we can jump on board here with. Luckily, his invalidated his lap. He's going to go for another run. Looks like who else do we have here? So Sharks starting his lap as well, closely followed by F1 Gravity, who is well, he somehow to invalidate his lap, unless he did it out of the final corner. Ryback also looks like he's on a lap. He's trailing the two Mercedes in front of him. Looks like they're going to try to pull out of the way. This could get a bit hairy. He swoops into the right-hander. Now one Mercedes. He has another in front of him, which isn't going to be really helping because, Luke, especially this year, the way the game has been designed, dirty air is a lot more prevalent this year than it really was last year. Yeah,
100%. You could argue the fact that, you know, it's good to get the slipstream, but yeah, dirty air around corners, you definitely don't want that in this game. A bit different from last game.
Little lock up going into the final corner. A little wrong direction there from the Renault. Jewel, 127.7. So the first driver into the 127s here in this session with just under 6.5 minutes to go is the Mercedes of Jewel. Things look like it's going to be the calm before the storm, Luke, as we fit on new tires, refuel these cars, and I would suspect with about 2.5 minutes to go, we see a massive exodus in the pit lane. So Ewan and Darnell, both McLarens seem to be just struggling for anything. They've yet to set a time. Darnell has come in with quite a reputation behind him because he is known very quick. And his teammate, unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's been able to continue the session. So hopefully we can get him back if we're able to. Darnell,
yes.
This would not be a good start for him.
Yeah, it's a strange one. That it's funny that both McLarens haven't put in laps. Of course, it hasn't gone their way at the moment, but yeah, it's fun to see that both McLarens. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything, but no, that's interesting. Oh, he's left there.
HK has
interesting.
Also have to say, wonder if there's maybe do we maybe have connection issues? Let's go ahead and. It doesn't look like we're having any sort of issues. Under 5 minutes to go. If they're going to come back, it's going to have to be fairly quickly. Looks like James has started his lap. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. He's really the only car on track that looks like he's putting in a push lap. His teammate, Sir Sharks, has already done a lap on that set of tires. Now heads into the pit lane. So James F1, now the only car on track at the moment. Everyone else in the pit lane. And there's the purple sector one from the Racing Point. Nice. We've seen it plenty of times last season. Great laps from James F1. neither him nor his teammate got a single win last season and still managed to take home the Constructors' Championship, which just shows the consistency of these drivers. What can he do here to maybe amend that? He probably would have wanted a win and a Constructors' title, but it wasn't meant to be last season. Can he potentially amend that in the first race this season as he begins that long right-hand turn?
He's looking very quick. He's looking very quick. They should put him in first if he continues it through the last final corners. I'm not sure he's going to have time to get in another lap. He probably might go for it. I would have thought so.
James F1 about to come around the final corner. Looks nice and clean. No lockups heading into there. DRS wide open, line as he can be. James F1 up into second place, still 3/10 off of Jewel.
That's interesting. He had a very good first sector and a very good second sector. Seems to have fallen away a little bit into the third sector. We're joining back now, so might see a lot more laps coming out.
It does look like plenty of drivers are trundling out of. Hop on board with.
It's just important to see that there's not a massive traffic jam, because we've seen that plenty of times, and then some people are not able to get their laps in. But it doesn't look like that at the moment.
A pretty steady stream, but nobody who's hindering anyone else, which probably wasn't by design, but is going to work out for everybody in the end.
Yeah. See if everyone's coming out the pit lane now, it looks like.
Question is, can Jewel improve on his 127.7? He's the only driver so far in the 127s. I would suspect Mercury and Buckley might be able to get into that category. I'm also curious as well, is James F1 also on another lap? Let's go ahead, check up on him real quick, make sure he's not on another lap. He might try to come back around, complete another lap to try nick pole off of the Mercedes in front of him. Let's see if we can find the lead car. It does look like it is Miles heading into. He's on wide and he's backed out of that. Get around quickly the Red Bull and get out of the way of the car behind him. That could have been an interesting situation heading through. So Mercedes, was he on a lap? Doesn't look like he was, so he might get away with that one there. James F1 into the pit lane. He is done with this section. So right now, he's sitting in second. Darnell, yet to set a lap time, retires as well. So under a minute to go. We still have those needing to start their laps. Looks like a Red Bull.
I was just flicking through, and it's everyone's come out on the softs, so no one's going to try and go on the mediums. Everyone's looking on the softs, so everyone thinks that softs is definitely the best way to qualify, which is interesting because lots of people did start on the mediums when their first runs.
Now, it looks like the lead driver here is Buckley. He sets a fastest middle sector in that AlphaTauri. 128.2 now. Matty is retired as well. He'll be outside the top 10. Buckley, as he comes through that long right-hander into the left, which is a very, very late apex. Into the rest of the third sector he comes.
Here he is then.
Keep this lap together through the final corner he comes. Rimac goes 6th fastest. Can Buckley go ahead of the rest of the pack? He goes into second place. Also in the 127s as well. Who's next across the line? It looks like a Mercedes. Is that Jewel potentially? It is Jewel. He currently holds provisional pole. Can he keep his grip on that as well and improve on his 127.7? Yes, indeed, he can. 127.6 from the Mercedes. It looks like the other AlphaTauri next across the line. What can Gravity do? Can he take pole off as well? Jumps into 4th over DJ Danny. It looks like now a Ferrari is next to come across the line, closely followed by a Racing Point. Fairmoto, can he get inside the top 10? He does for now. Sir Sharks, 8th fastest. Who else do we have? We have the other Mercedes, I-97. Can he cross the line? Off into second place. 127 points. He's 1,000th of a second off his teammate.
He's not going to be happy about that. He's not going to be happy in the pit lane.
Can he have anything more to say about it? 13th fastest for the McLaren. And DJ Danny looks like he has completed his lap. I highly doubt he's going to do another on that set of soft tires. He's retreated into the pit lane. And that will do it for qualifying. That was,
Mercedes 1-2. Not.
Well, that sounds familiar.
Yes. It's interesting to see that everyone in their team seems fairly equal. Sometimes you do get someone at the top, someone at the bottom, but this year everyone seems to be fairly equal in their teams.
I think those who are going to be disappointed with the qualifying. HK starting in 14th. His teammate Miles as well. Not the greatest showing from the Red Bulls. They're definitely going to be looking to make up a few places on the first lap. Well, it's a Mercedes 1-2, a front row lockout for Jewel and Ryan. They start first and second. Buckley and James accompany themselves on the second row ahead of Gravity and Mercury, make up 5th and 6th place. It's an all-Renault row. DJ Danny and Rymac starting 7th and 8th, and rounding out the top 10, Sir Sharks and Miles. Everyone in the top 10 will start on the soft tires. Ferramoto starting 11th alongside Matty Banter as well. Liverpool Ewan starts 13th alongside our current Drivers' Champion DXT HK, who never really got going in qualifying. Darnell and Cusiato yet to set times in the session. They will start 15th and 16th. And everyone, of course, outside the top 10 will have free choice of tires.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. We mentioned it earlier on in the session. What tyre they do start, and will it be the hards or will it be the mediums? We'll see.
It'll be certainly interesting to see, because should they could even really go to the softs as well, because they could make it a two-strap strategy, potentially put pressure on those at the front. But I think the thing for me is the gap between second and third in qualifying was just under 0.2 of a second, and if that takes course over the 27-lap race, it could be Mercedes kind of running away with things.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see as well. We've got other drivers further down, drivers like HK who are looking to push on from the position that they're starting in. He might start on the softs.
Well, and to also give you an idea of how compact the midfield is as well. From 4th, James F1, all the way down to his teammate, Sir Sharks. There's 1 second covering 4th to 9th. So it should be a very, very, very close midfield battle. Which even if those in the front 2 or front 3 are running away with it, those 7 or 8 drivers in the midfield should keep us very, very entertained.
Yeah, I'm looking at the tyres now, and the top 10 obviously the tyres finished off the qualifying, but mediums, hards. And yeah, mediums and hards looking like the favourite tyre.
Well, if anybody's going to lose out with their tyre choice, it's going to be Miles. He did an extra lap on his tyres, so it makes you wonder, Luke, if could that maybe potentially affect his pit strategy, and if that does affect his pit strategy, how's that going to affect his teammate as well?
Oh yeah, of course, HK's going to really want to push on from where he's qualified. And Miles, of course, on the same strategy, you would think, maybe pitting a bit earlier. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they have a few team orders. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that one.
Well, the McLarens as well, they will have free tire choice. We know the pace of Ewan and Darnell. Could you potentially see them getting themselves into the points today, or Because I really think with the midfield potentially scrapping over each other, I could really invite them into that battle.
Oh, it all depends on the start. I mean, very long sort of stretch down to the first corner. So it'll be interesting to see on the start. If you bog down or something like that, then it's really affected. So yeah, well, we'll see. It's all about the start. I think, you know, for the first few laps at least. Of course, there's lots of DRS, well, 2 DRS zones, very long straights here. So there's lots of overtaking on those. So the front row would like to pull away, get away from that midfield, any scrappy midfield. And yeah, no, it'd be good to see.
I don't know if you're seeing this as well, and it might just be me. Has Miles started on the medium tire?
Let's have a look. Yes, started on the medium tires.
So did I maybe miss that he set his fastest lap time on the medium tire?
Well, what I saw, I was sure it was softs. You may disagree on that one. I'll have to have a look at that one, but no, he's definitely starting on the mediums.
Those also starting on the mediums, Ferramoto and HK as well. 4 drivers on the hards. Paddy Banter, Wimpole, Ewan, Darnell, and Cusiato as well, all on the hard compound of tire. It could be, Luke, that Ewan, Darnell, and Cusiato all just stay out for as long as possible and really begin to put pressure on those at the front, because they do have the pace in their cars. We've seen it before. But could it be they stay out and try to play maybe strategy games with the top 10?
Well, those starting on hards, 4 drivers are starting on hard, so yeah, they'll definitely slow down the top runners. That is without a doubt. But yeah, like you said, they're very quick drivers, so yeah, there could be a real dent in the works for the top drivers, because if they get stuck behind them, it could all bunch up and they're in trouble.
Well, the final cars making up the grid now. Season 11 is about to get underway. Round 1 here from France. Looks like we're almost ready to go.
This is it.
Lights are on. And season 11 is underway. Both Mercedes get a great start, but the AlphaTauri of Buckley falling down the order. James F1 has gotten a great start as well. It's the AlphaTauri up the inside of the Mercedes nearly around. You see Ryan 97 falling down the order. You wonder if he got swept away in the first couple turns. Jewel leads from, it looks like an AlphaTauri. Timing screens are not quite correct at the moment, as they are going absolutely insane. But it's a Mercedes leading an AlphaTauri, leading a racing point. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened to Ryan 97. You see, now Jewel, looks like we have yellow flag. Looks like Darnell, one of the McLarens, has fallen all the way down the order. He's still coming down the pit straight now. Jewel leading the way. HK up into 12th place as well. It was a very, very frantic and chaotic start from everyone. They went nearly 4 wide heading into turn 1.
Yeah, it was a crazy start. Ryan's really dropped down, which is really not what he wanted. He's going to be under pressure now to try and push up. But no, we've still got Joel in first. He's wants to get out of that 1 second. He's got half a second at the moment. So he really wants to push on.
Right, 97 has it all over the back of him, and that is the Mercedes into the pit lane. You wonder if he took wing damage maybe the first time around, as we have completed the first lap here. Jewel leads from Buckley, from James, from Mercury, and then Danny rounds out the top 10. Sir Sharks getting all the way up into 6th position, so it's a good start for Racing Point. And both Red Bulls, HK, all the way up in the 9th place as well. Both of them on the medium tires as well, so should they be able to catch the back of the pack, they could really mix things up here, especially in that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th position, currently occupied by Danny, Sharks, Gravity, and Rymac.
Yeah, I was just looking at HK at the start, and he's made 5 spaces, additions from the start. So yeah, it was a wonderful start from him. He wouldn't have wished for better, but see if he can improve on that and push on.
Faramoto picks himself up a 3-second time penalty already here on lap number 2. You can see McLaren, it looks like of Darnell all the way back in the distance. And Ryan 97 pitting after the first lap. He's fitted the medium tires, so he's definitely going to be two-stopping this race, but he is quite adrift of anything really going on.
Yeah, it's going to be a long race for him. He needs to catch up quickly if he wants to get in the points.
Looks like Buckley now might under a little bit of pressure from James F1 as Buckley sets the fastest lap of the race, but James F1 had the slipstream down the pitch straight and is trying to hold on to it. You can see just through the dirty air all the time lost. He was within 0.2 of a second, has fallen all the way now 0.6, and Jewel already 3-second time penalty for the leader. So that's already making things interesting here on lap number 3.
Yeah, there's lots of penalties already to be given out. That will definitely affect things towards the end. Interesting to see that, lots of penalties. I mean, we did see quite a lot of deleted times in the qualifying, but I didn't expect this many penalties early on.
Miles and HK, are they potentially battling that one out, or are they just going to pull the old switcheroo? It looks like they have. Miles has now gone into 9th place and is going to be in charge of bringing his teammate along to try to go after the sister team in AlphaTauri and go after F1 Gravity. You can see, Luke, a few races are starting to break off into themselves because Rymac has fallen 3 points behind Sir Shark, so the top 6 are all keeping them safe. And as Rymac and Gravity look to be going at it, could that potentially open the door for the Red Bull behind? Both Red Bulls look like they are to pounce on any mistake that the two in front of them make. As you can see, there's quite a few lockups heading into the final corner. Keep themselves out of each other's way. That's going to be the important thing here. And they clear F1 Gravity, who looks to be under more pressure than what he was giving out to Rymac before. Miles down the inside of F1 Gravity. That's a good move from the Red Bull. Up into 8th place goes Miles. And now it looks like, and F1 Gravity is in places now. Down into 12th goes the AlphaTauri. He's been passed by HK as well. He's dueling with HK, who ran wide. My, they are swapping places like it's a deck of cards here.
Yeah, I was just looking at Rymac there, and he's really pushed away. I thought he was under a lot of pressure going down the main straight, but when he got into the first corner and the second corner, he really pretty much has given a great advantage going down this straight, the DRS zone. But now he's under a lot of pressure from Miles. He's still within a second, so yeah, he's not breath of fresher yet, but
well, Matty is hassling Faramoto around the long. Alfa Romeo all over that Ferrari, locking up a little bit to avoid going into the back of him. Through the 3rd sector. Everybody's still fairly compact. Jewel leads Buckley by 1.6 seconds. HK into the pits. You wonder if that's another front wing that might have gone missing here. So Shark's a 30-second penalty he picks up for his transgressions as well. Yep, front wing change on the Red Bull. James F1, 3-second penalty. Penalties flying absolutely all over the place. Yeah,
I've noticed a lot of lockups everywhere around the track, really. So that's really going to affect their tyres later on in the stints. So they've got to look out for that.
There's a little queue beginning to form behind Buckley in 2nd place, and this could potentially allow Jewel to break away. Here he is. It looks like Miles and Rymac have traded positions as well. The Red Bull, who didn't have the front wing damage, up into 7th as well. It looks like James F1 is going to have another look at Buckley here. Can he potentially get a move done into the long right handers too far back for any sort of move like that? Miles and Rimac still battling this one out for 7th place as well. These little battles that are all taking place on track.
Yeah. Well, there's this little DRS
fast
train.
and furious.
Yeah, there's this little DRS train that's just going on. That's really going to benefit the drivers who are on hard tyres, because they can keep up. But the gap isn't really that far from top to 14th, really. I mean, it's not out of the question. Especially those on hard tyres, that'd be really benefiting.
Well, those who started inside the top 10 on the softs have begun to peel into the pit lane. Sharks, Rimac, Gravity, all into the pit lane. Sharks and Rimac, mediums for them. Gravity has gone on to the... Gonna try and get all the way to the end of the race. That could be an interesting call from him, because the mediums are going to be probably feeling a lot better around this track, as ranks up a 3-second time penalty. And James and Buckley still going at it for 2nd place, and Mercury is all over the back of that racing point as well. Can James get a move done? Buckley's trying to show him the long way around, and James is going to back out of that one. He's going to have to go a long way around again. Can he potentially get the switch back onto Buckley? It looks like down the inside for the racing point. And Buckley's going to hang on around the outside and keep that 2nd position all the while. Just behind them, Mercury and Danny look like they're about to start scrapping amongst themselves as well. This is the battle for 2nd, as they now all peel into the pit lane, and it looks like everybody got in clean. That can be a very tense scenario where everybody's trying to get into the pit lane and slam on the brakes as late as possible. You end up slamming into the car in front of you.
Yeah, it's good to see that there's no contact made there. I was expecting it, but very clean racing at the moment, really. Good to see. I just noticed that Jewel has stayed out with James on the softs, and I think they've made the right decision, because now they've got a free pit lane, so they're not going to get caught up in the pit lane. So that's definitely going to increase their time advantage.
When Jewel pits, it'll probably put him just behind Ewan, as HK sets the fastest lap of the race in the Red Bull, because he has fresh, soft tires on for him. And you just wonder if that pit stop might come and actually help HK. Because remember, he's all the way back in the field, but he's going to pit one more time and go on to the hards, most likely, I would assume. And then go to the end of the race. That might be able to work out for him.
Yeah, you would think so. Let's see if he's... I can see the weather changing. That looks interesting as Jewel comes into the pits now.
Jewel into the pits, I would assume. James F1 follows him as he does. We're on board and watching the battle between Matty and Fairmoto now. Fairmoto is within 4/10. The Alfa Romeo in front of him as Miles assumes the lead of the race.
There's another penalty given out there. There's been so many, I'm losing count at the moment.
The question is, where will Jewel come out? Can he stay ahead of Buckley? As Buckley, you can see there, coming down the main straight. It looks like he is going to stay ahead of the Alpha Tauri, but not by much. Buckley nearly got the undercut done, and it might still pay off for him in the end, because he's dragged Mercury and Danny along with him. So this could be a very, very interesting development to keep an eye on as we head on lap 8 of this race with 19 more to go. He has DRS. Can he potentially attack the Mercedes in front of him? Looks like he's going to try. Going to swing to the inside. Down, he's going to hang on, and out and around he goes. Jewel tried to hang on around the outside, and Buckley ran just a little bit too deep into the chicane, trying to outbrake the Mercedes, and ended up paying the price in the end.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Buckley. He was looking good there. Looking, well, for a net P2, you would think. But, no, that's unfortunate for him. He's going to have to catch up now.
And that's going to open the door for Mercury now. Jules defending to do because the Alfa Romeo is now right on his gearbox this time as well. To head into the final corner. Imagine those medium drivers are going to start to feel the effects of the tire wear. The likes of Miles and Ferramoto, 8 laps on those. We don't expect those to go really any much longer than 14 laps would be really stretching the life of those tires. So you think now it's going to be on Jules to navigate his way up through. He's about to come up on both McLarens, but here's the key, is that this is for position. This is not him lapping anyone, even though he is in net P1. He's going to have to get past Ewan. He's going to have the help of DRS doing so. Can he potentially chuck it around the outside? Ewan pulls to the inside. Jules to the outside as they head into the chicane. Jules ahead before the corner. Nice move from the Mercedes up into P6 for Jules.
Yeah, I was just about to say that Jules needs to be careful here. He doesn't want to get into an accident or anything like that. Really damage his race. He wants to try and get past the people in front of him. It's quick. He's got to look after his tyres as well, so he can't push too hard. But no, looking very nice at the moment.
Well, he's gotten past Ewan at a very good time because Ewan at some point acting as a roadblock between him and Mercury and Danny and James F1 as well. So he's gotten past at a very good time. The Alfa Romeo has no way around. He's going to try the outside. That might open it up for DJ Danny to get past as well. You can see him side by side heading down the pit straight. Jules setting the fastest lap. Ewan to the inside. Is Danny going to get 2 positions in 1? He takes to the inside line. And Mercury is facing the wrong direction. I wonder if that is because, did he take someone else with him as well?
That was Buckley. I think Buckley hit him.
I wonder if he did. It just goes from bad to worse for Buckley. And Mercury pushing maybe a little bit too hard in the Alfa Romeo. He really could have put pressure on Jules, but he was a little bit, what do you call it?
Naive,
overeager
say.
to get past the McLaren.
I think what these drivers have got to look at is there's still 17 laps left. I mean, we're not halfway through yet, so they've got to be cautious on the overtakes. You don't want to send it into the inside and damage your front wing, and that's your race over, really, potentially. So you've got to be careful and really choose your moments, especially on a track like this where there's lots of overtaking opportunities. You've got to make sure it's the right opportunity.
We've seen before DJ Danny and James F1. This is for net P2. Currently 7th in the race because those in front have yet to pit. And just as I say it, Ferramoto into the pit lane off the medium tire, so 9 laps on those is what he deemed was enough. Miles has done 10. He's currently the leader of the race. And Matty and Darnell. Well, here's a question for you, Luke. Could potentially those 3 cards at the front, that Matty, Cazziato, and Darnell, could they potentially go to the end? You wouldn't think they would be able to, but maybe.
Well, it's us that we'll have to wait and see for that one, but it'd be interesting to see. I mean, if they pit, well, you have to say they're going to pit fairly soon with Miles out in front on the mediums. If they're on hards, they could do it one stop. They have to manage their tyres very well, and hopefully they don't get into any traffic. But yeah, they could do it one stop. It's definitely possible.
Mercury is into the pit lane, presumably for a new front wing. Shark's pitted as well. He's just now leaving the pit lane onto the hard tires from him, most likely heading to the end of the race. We're still watching this battle between DJ Danny and James F1. 3/10, now 4/10 in it between the two. It looks like Buckley is coming back at the McLaren of Liverpool Ewan. 2/10 in it between the two of them. backing up ever so slightly, heading into the long left-hander. Darnell, another time penalty for him. Miles now into the pit lane, which allows Matty to assume the lead of the race. Looks like onto the hards on that Red Bull. We'll have to see where he comes out. Liverpool, Ewan and Sink Buckley are going to go wheel to wheel
Buckley's
here.
come around, yeah.
Buckley has gotten the move done for 8th place.
Yeah, Buckley didn't want to sit there for much longer. He's on fresher mediums by 6 laps. He definitely wanted to get past Liverpool Ewan. But into 7th now. I was looking at his front wing there, and it does look a bit damaged, so see if that's affecting his time at all. But no, he's got past Liverpool Ewan at a good time. Now got people on mediums ahead of him on softer. But no, we'll see. Buckley can have the recovery of his life and push up.
I did think that he made contact with Mercury as the Alfa Romeo was facing the wrong direction. I think Mercury may have tried to pull back onto the track at a very inopportune time and potentially made a little bit of contact with the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, I did see it. He span round, and I think Buckley just clipped his rear wing, which did damage his front wing. So yeah, that's unfortunate for him. It was in quick succession. I think 2 laps in it from him spinning to him damaging his front wing. So not the greatest for Buckley, but seems to be running well at the moment.
Well, Jewel has gotten himself back up into 3rd, and we're still watching this battle. It seems to never end between DJ Danny and James F1. And they are about to be approaching the back of the other McLaren of Darnell. The 1 second gap that you need for the drag reduction system. Miles has gotten past Liverpool Ewan down the pit straight. Back up into 8th for the Red Bull. We're about at half race distance here, Luke, and I have absolutely no idea how this podium could look. Jules looks fairly in command. Remember, he does have a 3-second time penalty to contend with. I'm not even going to stick my neck out there and try to pick any sort of podium at all so far. Yeah,
it's such a hard to predict at the moment. We have to wait for a few more laps, but with Darnell and 2 others, Matty Banter and Sink, all yet to pit, Liverpool Ewan as well, as Danny goes past Darnell there. That's an interesting one, and he didn't want to stay there for much longer. He is on softer and newer tyres. But it's like I was saying before, those who have yet to pit could do a 1-stop here, so that really could, keep them in this position. You say we're at half race distance now. If they do a 1-stop, they could be winning this race. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Well, Jewel is all over the back of the Ferrari in front of him, and he's going to have the complement of the drag reduction system down the pit straight to get him back into 2nd place. The move was done probably right before they crossed the start-finish line to start lap 14. Jewel up into 2nd place. And now, the question is, Darnell is going to be holding up James F1 a little bit. Remember, him and DJ Danny were having that battle, which seemed like it was lasting for 4 or 5 laps there. That can't continue until James clears the McLaren in front as HK peels into the pit lane as well.
James all over the back of Darnell. This could be an opportunity for him to DRS open. Goes around the outside. Can he do it here? He does, into the front there, into 5th.
Does have the move done, and now he can climb onto the back of Kisiato in front of him. And really make his charge up the pack.
Just looking at Joel at the moment, net P1, and he's gaining on Matty Banter at a rapid pace. See if there'll be more overtaking opportunities for him. But yeah, the net P1 at the moment looking comfortable with 1.7 seconds behind to Danny. We'll see if he can increase that gap.
Well, the gap from Matty was 3.2 seconds back to the Mercedes. It refreshed once and was 2.9 seconds, which it is still at now, and is now down to 2.8 seconds. So as you were saying, gaining at a rate of knots is the Mercedes on the back of that Alfa Romeo. He should be able to potentially get a move done should he keep that speed here in about 5 or 6 laps, depending on if, of course, Matty pits or not off of those tires, which would be in about 5 or 6 laps. Very, very worn. As we see here, a nice little battle between the Ferrari and James F1. Looks like James has the inside line, has DRS, and is the Ferrari before they approach the chicane. Well, the battle for third back on.
Yeah, it's going to heat up now between Danny and James. This is 4 position, so yeah, they've got to be careful, like I said earlier. But this is for position, so they're going to be throwing everything at it.
And a nice little battle forming as well. 2 cars that really lost out at the start. Of course, Kazate starting at the back. Darnell losing out in really the lap 1 scramble, if you want to call it that. They're starting to eke onto the back of each other, and Darnell, he potentially had him into the pit lane.
And the one's on hard tires.
As has Matty and Kaziato as well. So Jewel back in the lead of the race as he starts lap number 16. Those on the hards looks like they're heading onto the mediums, all 3 of them. So they should probably be good to go to the end of the race. Now this battle for second is heating up once more. Again, 0.4 of a second between Danny and James F1. You wonder now if James F1 is going to try to push that racing point onto the back of the Renault to maybe put some real pressure onto the back of DJ Danny, because 0.6 of a second is the gap, with DRS wide open. Goes down to as they approach the chicane. 0.4 as it leaps into 0.3 now, but it is about 0.4 of a second, so you gain nearly 2 or 3 of a second just down the straight. A few more laps of that, and James could be well clear of the Renault.
Yeah, and this is really going to play into the hands of Jewel. Second and third battling, you can try and extend it. I'm looking at the times now, and it's been 2.6 second or 2.7 seconds gap now, and that's really going to play into the hands. I bet he's rubbing his hands together, Jewel.
Well, we just missed it because Yato has gotten past F1 Gravity. Remember, the Ferrari just pitted for fresh medium tires, and the AlphaTauri has been on those hards for the last 10 laps, so you would imagine the strategy working out there for Ferrari. Getting that man to the points positions. right back headed into the pit lane as well. You wonder if this is going to be potentially another set of mediums. He can do that on the softs, and he could be throwing on that second set of mediums. It does look like the medium tire heading on to that Renault. He's dropped down to 12th. Where might he come out? This looks like we'll jump on board with Ewan and Matty. He's battling for 6th. They head into turns 3 and 4.
Liverpool Ewan yet to pit. He's the only person yet to pit. So it has worked out for him, you should say. If he keeps Matty Banter behind him, then as that might not happen now, as Matty Banter wide open, easily breezes past, but can he hold on to it? He does. And first into the corner, that's a good pass. But Liverpool Ewan yet to stop, and I'm sure his tyres are definitely fading away, so I'm sure he'll be thinking about a stop coming up.
Well, battle for second once more, heating up as they go through the third sector. 0.4 of a second it is. You wonder if I'm beginning to wonder if James is just trying to pace himself, save those tires, and maybe try to bleed tire life out of the Renault in front of him.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. You have to pick your moments on this track, like I said earlier. You don't want to send it to the inside and cause contact and ruin both of your races, so he seems to be taking his time. He's not going to rush. There's no need to rush. Still plenty of laps left, so he's going to take his time and shoot.
It does look like now Gravity is coming under pressure from the McLaren of Darnell. Not a move that time, heading into turns 1 and 2. Ferramoto has gotten past the other McLaren up into 7th place for the Ferrari. So the Ferraris having a nice little showing here this afternoon down in the minor points places. 7th and 9th for Ferrari as things stand, and the other Ferrari is latched onto the back of the McLaren. Can he potentially get a move done? It looks like down the inside goes the Ferrari into the chicane. Kazietu has that move done. It's 7th and 8th now for Ferrari.
Yeah, it's a shame for Liverpool Ewan. He was looking really good in, I think he was in 6th just 3 laps ago, so I'm sure he'll be thinking about a pit stop now. He's yet to pit. Car's easing past him now, so I'm sure he's thinking of a pit stop.
The only thing is, if he pits, he'll probably come out around 13th, 14th, where Rimac and HK are currently occupying now. As it does look like he is into the pit lane. We'll keep an eye on him. With just 8 laps to go, I wonder if can he potentially move on to the softs. Let's keep an eye on. Is that the soft tire ready? It's the medium tires heading on to the McLaren. So he's most definitely getting to the end of the race on that tire in this battle for second. Still raging on. DRS wide open for James. You wonder if he might have a look this time, just too late into the chicane.
James.
Ever so slightly.
James starting to get impatient now. I'm not surprised. He's been behind Danny for a very long time. And yeah, he'll be sweating in his seat at the moment. He's definitely wanting to get past Danny.
This is currently the closest battle on track. The next closest is going to be the 2nd, 7th, and 8th. You would think they're simply pacing themselves. You would also imagine that Kazietu could probably do his teammate a favor and allow him to just hang out a little bit as DJ Danny and James F1 both into the pit lane as well. This is certainly going to mix things up a little bit, isn't it? Because now Jewel is going to have absolute free reign up at the front. DJ Danny onto the softs. Will James do the exact same? Yes, he will. Soft tires for the Racing Point Jewel. Another time penalty for him, so that's 6 seconds now, I believe, for the Mercedes. 9.6 is the gap to Buckley behind, so he's still in good shape so far.
I was looking before Danny and James went into the pits. I think the gap was 5 seconds, so it's not over yet for the battle of first, but 6 second penalties. He's definitely going to have that in his head.
Well, the two that pitted, DJ Danny and James F1, have inserted themselves right into a bit of traffic because Ferramoto is really causing DJ Danny some problems. He won't let the Renault get around him easily. He's going to probably with DRS. Oh, and Sharks. Is he into the pit lane and retiring? It does look like he is. I wonder if he just completely lost the car. But that doesn't look like it in the end. James F1 and DJ Danny passed the Ferrari, as is Darnell as well. So 3 positions lost for the Ferrari, and about the same breath.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Sharks. He never really got going in this race, but no, he's retired his car. So, no, I hope to see him next week in Austria, and let's hope for a better race for him.
Well, this is now for 2nd place and a few laps fresher, hard tires than Buckley in front of him. What can the Red Bull do to get into 2nd place? The gap front. Jewel leading by 10.5 seconds. Surely as both drivers lock up heading into turns 5 and 6. Surely without any calamitous errors, Jewel is going to a victory here. Buckley is going to come under immense pressure from Miles now. Miles has the outside line. Heading into the chicane they go. Buckley losing out chicane once more. This time it didn't end in a spin. It just ends him losing the position. As James F1 gets past the other Ferrari. They're going to fight this one out, heading into the chicane as well, but he does have the move done. The Ferrari has just had to carry on and lose another position to Darnell.
Back as Danny and James F1 are still battling again, and that's going to go right to the end, I think.
Yeah, this is a battle that has lasted almost half the race and will probably continue for about half the season at this rate.
Well, it'd be good for people watching that two drivers having a little rivalry on track. You could see. Looking forward to it.
This is a rivalry that has carried on from last season and is most definitely taking place here this season, right on track. It is things we absolutely love to see as both drivers set fastest laps, one after the other. 131.0 from James F1. The fastest cars on track. They could work their way up into 4th and 5th, provided DJ Danny is able to latch onto the back of the Alfa Romeo in front of him. Looks like he is going to, out of turns 5 and 6, DJ Danny potentially get past the Alfa with the help of DRS. Looks like he is going to be able to. 2/10 is the gap as they head onto the main straight. Around the inside he goes. Can James F1 potentially get the move done as well? No, he's going to be held up into the chicane. James F1 potentially the better exit. He's going to have the benefit of the slipstream. It's practically pushing him as they take that right-hander flat out. Maybe take a dive down the inside. Matty's going to hold. He's going to go down the inside is James F1.
It's a great move.
It's not the first time today he's done that move. It is another fantastic move from the Racing Point.
Yeah, it's a great move there. Like you said, it's not the first time we've seen that. Very, very tight apex he took and managed to get the job done.
That enhanced tire grip from the soft compounded tire, especially because they're only 2 laps old, he would have much, much more grip than Matty on his now 7-lap old medium tires.
Yeah, this. I'm just watching Danny and James. It's I'm I'm still holding my breath for a last lap dive bomb or something like that. Looking forward.
Well, James has just picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. I don't know about Danny's penalty situation, but should Danny have no penalties, that will certainly hamper James' point haul here this afternoon, because it won't be as many as 5th place would award. As of now, it would him down to 6th place with that 3-second time penalty, provided Matty obviously doesn't have any of his own. And now Buckley, is he coming back at miles? It does look like he is. He's on much older, harder tires, but he's brought that gap to under a second. It looks like he's making it work, and he's coming back at the Red Bull.
He's doing really well. He's doing really well. He's on hard tires, and they're 16 laps old, so nearly 17 now. So yeah, he's definitely going to be feeling some tire wear, and he's definitely going to go to the end. So yeah, it's definitely going to affect, but it's not affecting him at the moment as he's gaining on miles. So that could be a one to watch there.
He's gaining on miles ever so slightly. Another driver that is gaining on the man in front of them is DJ Danny. Sets another fastest lap, 131.0, nearly into the 130s as Fairmoto peels into the pit lane. He might have a look at that fastest lap as well. Kazatsu and Darnell are going to battle this one out for 7th place. Who's Ryan 97, I think, for the first time today, other than the first few corners, is up into the top 10 into the points as HK is up into 12th as well. Fairmoto pitting. Things are starting to spread out here ever so slightly, part of this battle for 7th. You see now Mercury and Ewan, are those two potentially going at it just outside the points? No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like someone has had a spin as well. It looks like Ewan has lost out a couple places to the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo in front of him. For one McLaren, it's gone from bad to not too bad, and for the other, it's gone from not too bad to pretty bad.
Yeah, it's a shame for him. They had a poor qualifying. But, yeah, that's probably where he's going to finish this race. So, hopefully a better race next weekend.
Buckley into the pit lane as well, which will allow
He's got a puncture. He's got a left puncture.
Does he have a puncture? He does have a left front puncture. That would be why he's in the pit lane. So 17 laps on the hards is all it could do, which could open things up for Miles because Jewel has done 17 laps on his hard compounded tires. This race isn't over yet because we're gonna have to wait and see what kind of condition Jewel's tires are in. Because it was, well, if he had a puncture with 17 laps in, Jewel's probably seeing that and saying, uh-oh, what are my tires going to do from this point on, unless he's done a hefty bit of tire saving himself, because he has left Miles 10.6 seconds behind, but Miles, only 13 laps on him. He could probably get to the end of the race on his set. I'm not too sure about Jewel.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have, well, I'm sure he doesn't know that Buckley's got a puncture, but definitely going to be feeling the tyre wear 17 laps on those hard compounds, so yeah, he's definitely going to have that in the back of his head, but hopefully he'll be alright. He should be alright. He's definitely deserved the win here. But yeah, not over yet. We'll have to wait and see.
He also has 6 seconds of time penalties as well, so that could potentially come into play should he need to go into the pit lane. It's possible he could fall off the podium as well. I mean, with two laps to go, we're not entirely sure how this is going to end up. Could we potentially see another Silverstone with the leader getting a puncture on the final few corners and limping home on 3 wheels? We'll have to wait and see. Is 10.7 to Miles behind him. Looks like Mercury and Fair Motor are going to exchange places for 13th and 14th. What was going so well for Mercury in the beginning of this race, he had that little incident with AlphaTauri, and it ended up sending him spinning. And it's relegated him all the way down to 13th and 14th. They're still going to battle this out across the start-finish line.
Buckley's getting close to his teammate there. He's on the softer compound with Gravity. I think Gravity's got a puncture, has he? Nope, he hasn't.
Does Gravity have a puncture?
He's got an engine issue, gearbox issue or something there. Or is that just my gameplay?
Going. Looks like he's all right for now, but 20 laps on those hard tires is not something he's going to want to really brag about. Looks like now that DJ Danny and James F1, the gap between the two of them, 1.9 seconds now. So that battle looks like it will go to DJ Danny this time around.
Buckley, and he's had such a disappointing race. I mean, he's done well to keep it in 8th really, but he's had so many problems with front wing damage, with spins. It's been the greatest race, but finishing 8th, possibly 7th. I mean, it's going to be a push to get 7th, but yeah, 8th place. It's not the end of the world, but you've got to hope for better.
1.6 seconds as he does set the fastest lap, and if he stays where he's at now, he'll get the extra point for having the fastest lap, because he got to 3-second penalty for him. It opens up 7th place for him now, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be pushing for that. He's got in DRS range now. Interesting to see this straight. If he can get into 7th, will definitely lighten the harsh race that he's had. If he does, he's got battery to use here as he tries and gets passing. It's going to be a tough one from this range as he closes up. Does he look to the inside? He does, but the gap's not there. He's going to try again around the chicane, but not enough. He's going to get the slipstream. He's definitely going to try again here as he goes around the outside.
He's gotten a much better exit out of the corner. But out in front,
got the inside line
Jewel
there.
Line. No punctures for him. Jewel wins here in France. First IRL race, first win for him. There'll be miles to come across in 2nd, provided any sort of penalties don't affect him. DJ Danny will come home in 3rd. We'll have to wait and see. Does James F1 kept it clean. No, he's kept it much, well, it hasn't gone very well. Down to 5th as well, but we're still going to watch this battle for 9th. Does Ryan potentially have the run at the line? No, not this time around. Gravity will jump up to 7th. Ryan up to 9th. It's Jewel from Miles from Danny, and I feel like a lot of those three here this season as Jewel wins round here of season 11, qualifying on pole and winning the race. He's taken almost maximum points, as I believe it is Buckley that took fastest lap away from him, so not quite maximum points. He missed out on one, but got everything he could out of the race.
Yeah, Jules done well there. He's done really well. Driver of the day, Miles. He's finished P2. Can't really remember where he started, but it was definitely not P2. And he's done a very good lap. But here it is, Jewel on the podium. What a great debut it is for him.
Yeah, Miles starting all the way down in 10th, so making up 8 positions during the race is certainly nothing to scoff at.
So it was a really exciting first race. Hopefully you have more of those. Positions changing every lap. Really good start to the season.
It is a fantastic start to the season. I don't know, do we have anyone in here yet?
Not yet. I'm trying to get a few people in.
Hopefully we can do that as soon as we can. I mean, see there, time penalty is just going all over the place. See there, the mixture of strategies as well. I mean, 1 stop, 1 stop, 2 stop, 1 stop, 2 2. I mean, the strategies were really just all over the place. Some coming courtesy of a little bit of damage, but some just straight tire wear as well. It makes you wonder. Had there been no collisions, we probably would have seen which strategy is probably the stronger of the two.
Yeah, lots of penalties being dished out. But no, it's been good. But yeah, it was really interesting to see the drivers starting on hards. Definitely benefited. Drivers like Miles started on the hards, and he's finished up in P2. Oh no, he started on the mediums. I'm sure, but no, he's done well.
He has done extremely well. I don't know. Do we have anyone in here yet?
Trying my
Probably
hardest.
Not, I would assume.
No, not not at the moment.
Yeah, that's usually how this goes.
Let's have a look.
We'll give him a few minutes to jump in here. We'll see how that goes.
Let's have a look here. See if we can get a few people in. No, what a great start that is to the season.
And again, I think that midfield battle, as we progress through the season, is only going to get better and better as the drivers begin to learn each other and learn who's good at where, who's good not. I think it could be a very, very close midfield, probably all the way from 5th down to probably 12th in the championship. I think is going to just be an absolute scramble. I think is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, and here we are with Miles. He's joined us here. So Miles, how do you think that went? Pretty good, finishing in 2nd place.
Yeah, I knew that there were going to be a couple strugglers because I didn't know whether the soft to hard strategy was going to be the best one. So when I was going for my soft lap, I just decided to bail on the last moment and just do the medium to hard, and thankfully it worked out.
No, you did very well.
So
I mean, I was... Okay, go on.
Yeah, was it just a matter of understanding the strategy? Were you surprised as well when everybody was going out on the soft tires?
Yeah, I was very surprised. I thought there were going to be a lot of medium runners, but when everyone out on the softs, I didn't really know what to do, but I just stuck with my strategy that I already planned. And yeah, because I knew that they were going to be struggling to last on the hard tires. That's why we saw a couple 2-stoppers going soft, medium, medium. So yeah, quite happy with that.
That was very good. We were saying here that everyone sort of went on the softs other than yourself. So no, you did very well to keep that going and ended up finishing in P2 and getting driver of the day.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, I think we're still waiting on people climbing in.
You can get anyone else in.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone else is gonna jump in. Well, if that's the case, everyone, thank you very much for watching. This time, same place next week, we will take to the Austrian hills and go have a nice little race there, and hopefully things are just as interesting as they were this week.
Yes, we'll hope for that. Just before we end, we have got two drivers here, Jewel and Buckley, who've just joined quickly just before the end. We'll have a quick word with we'll have a quick word with Jewel, the race winner. It'll only be a quick one. Jewel, how do you think that went?
Clue my audio. There we go. Okay, yeah, it was alright. I'm surprised the tyres lasted that well.
I was going to say, were you expecting the tyres to last that long? Were you scared of a puncture, or were you cruising towards the end?
When I noticed that the track was getting colder because it was very cloudy and I could take the softs to lap 7 pretty easily, I thought it was going to work. But at the end, you know, when you see the tyres actually being 75%, you get a little bit scared because you can get a puncture, but luckily I didn't.
Very good. Let's look forward to seeing you next week, and hopefully you continue your running streak. Great debut from you, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, cheers for having me.
And finally we have Buckley, who's, well, he's had a very interesting race, we should say. Lots of talking points. Buckley, how do you think that went for you?
Yeah, I mean, the puncture was probably the highlight of my race, but, you know, the start was pretty good for me. I got into P2 straight away. So, I managed to, you know, try and keep with Jewel for the race, but, yeah, I think me and him had a bit of contact at the end of the straight, which is a driving incident in my opinion. But yeah, the puncture, I cannot believe I got a puncture. It would have been, I would think, P2 because Miles had penalties as well. So P6 is fine for me because that's damage limitation. That's pretty good from that.
Yeah, my final question for you is Austria next week. How are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, Austria, it's a good track for me, even though I am on a pad, but yeah, I like the track. It's got a good flow to it, so hopefully I can, you know, bring the pace ahead from this track onto the next track, so hopefully we can get a good result there.
Well, we'll look forward to it. Thanks, Buckley. We'll hope to see you again before the end of the season.
Thank you.
And have a great season, mate.
Thanks,
Well, for myself, for Luke and his first time in the booth, that was pretty good. Well, that was most definitely good on your IRL debut, along with the 6 other drivers here this afternoon. For myself, for Luke, thank you very much for watching. We will see you in Austria next week. Until next time.